Hello everyone and welcome to the ProPokeBowl Season 5 Week number 7. My name is ProPokeBowl, but thank you very much for joining me. We only have 4 weeks left in the tournament, which means the run for playoffs starts now. The points are pretty close. We need to take a quick reminder of what they are looking at. At the moment, with every coach needing 2 to 4 battles left, the Fortnite Ninjas sit at the top undefeated with 18 points. The Traverse City Thunderous in second place with 17. Third place, Manchester Benetric starting off our night, sitting in third. Fourth place, the tie between the Golden State Ninjas surging and I Am Groot falling. Ice Cold and Las Vegas Golden Lucario sitting and sharing that final seat in the playoffs with Lunar Cresselias looking to squirm their way in. Not impossible though, as we reviewed on the ProPokeBowl. Wow, words. We reviewed on the ProPokeBowl podcast. Everybody's got a chance to still make it in. If you guys want to go check that out, it's over on YouTube. Episode number 9 will give you all of our power rankings as well as what we think the direction of where the direction of the tournament will go. We do have 3 matches for you tonight. We have Manchester Benetric versus Las Vegas Golden Lucario starting off, followed by our featured matchup of the night, I Am Groot versus the Fortnite Ninjas, 2 fantastic players in this tournament, and it's going to be looking for Fortnite Ninjas to keep I Am Groot down to not give him that second place run, whereas I Am Groot's looking to make up for a lot of bad hacks that he's been dealing with throughout the tournament. And last for our night is Ice Cold versus Lunar Cresselias. Ice Cold looking to stand above the 8th seed, trying to kick him out of his own seat. Let's get into the first analysis tonight. Between Manchester Benetric and Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, it will be Ivan versus Coma as they set up on Showdown. Let's take a quick look at this. That is not it. What? Get out of here. Really? Okay. 1 sec. It should not be reading that, but it is. That's funny because it's actually set to read that perfectly, and it didn't. That's also not what I'm on. That's cool. The Manchester Benetric have had a little bit of troubles keeping the points, but they haven't had a chance to really fight for the points lately, but they will be looking to try and stay above the rest. The first step is to take it off of Coma. Coma getting some really good points in here and there against some higher seeds. Even just grabbing a single point is throwing off the balance just a little bit, plus the bye is helping out quite a bit. But if this is the season that Coma's going to enter the playoffs, this is the time now, and he has to start by taking it away from Ivan. Ivan, we've talked about as a feast or famine type of player. He will either look really, really good and really, really strong, having his entire... Why is that at 7 minutes? Oops. There you go. We either have Ivan doing really well because of the defensive core of Stakataka, Alomomola, and Togekiss not being torn down, also seeing some usage with that Roselia, or we see him fall really hard because once his defensive core is down, he just doesn't have the damage, has no support with it, heavily relies on his defensive walls doing a fair amount of spread damage or just keeping damage here statusing, and then coming in with something like Zygarde 10%, or Kieran Black, when he has access to it, Nidoqueen, these types of Pokemon to come in and finish stuff off. For Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, it has been a controversial season between myself and Gam. We've been trying to find the answer for Coma, whether it's in team building or if it's in play or in both. What we can say is there are glimmers of hope for Coma, who has been looking quite strong, being able to execute mostly on win conditions, but there seems to always be one piece or one wheel of the car missing. So when we see Coma trying to roll in and try and take some more points, he's got to start against Ivan, and you don't have the Pokemon to take down Ivan's core, you're not getting anywhere. Luckily for him, with the bans, he did actually end out banning the Alomomola. Doesn't want to have to deal with Regenerator. Doesn't want to have to deal with, Mienshao plus Alomomola would have a fair amount of time against this team, believe it or not. Fake out support, then being able to switch to a defensive wall to be able to handle the likes of Scizor and Megalopoly. However, Scizor was banned. Wait, what? Yeah, that's right. His Scizor was banned. I was like, he banned himself? No. Scizor was banned for Ivan. Ivan does not want to deal with that. Honestly, Scizor does punch him both Togekiss and Stakataka. Also just has great priority to take out a lot of his Pokemon. Got to keep in mind that a lot of his sweepers are fairly fragile, so any type of set up Scizor would make it very difficult for him to try and get anything done here. So, as a result, what does that mean? We have to see the likes of the Megalopoly make work here. Also, Initiator, thank you very much for that huge raid, my friend. Appreciate that. Welcome everyone to the ProPokeBowl. We are currently running our yearly league tournament where we're about to get into the final weeks to see who's going to make it their way to the playoffs to win the duck that's out of sight right now. But good to see everybody coming over from Initiator's stream. Initiator being one of the coaches of the ProPokeBowl. He will be playing third tonight. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting thing. We have noted that, of course, Coma, as much as we give him the conditions and we give him the credit, it's still got to be use. We do like the fact that he has pulled Weezing and he has pulled Celebi onto the team here. Neither of them have made a trades this week, but seeing him switch up a couple of Pokemon has given him a little bit more confidence, at the very least, to try and experiment with some of those new Pokemon. At the same time, we want to see what Feeny does here. With Alomomola being gone, Feeny worries. It has great things against Stakataka. I'm curious if he does bring Togekiss, what Manchester Magic will do with the Togekiss. If this thing is just soaking up all special defense attacks, then it's going to become difficult. And I'm kind of concerned because Mienshao, I believe, can run the likes of Poison Jab. We have, I don't know, actually. He doesn't really have a lot to deal with it, but I'm curious to see if the Feeny's going to be played well enough. You don't have to obviously worry about the Nidoqueen if it doesn't have any Calm Mind boosts. So it's going to come down to a few damage calculations here. Let me just actually load up Manchester Manetric's movesets here, and then we'll look for a game. But it is going to come down to that damage. Feeny plus Lopunny have to make this happen, whereas for Ivan, I think a Nidoqueen is going to be quite important. We might see something like the Assault Vest Nidoqueen come out again to be able to tank up those type sets, knowing he needs to answer that. I do believe, well, Stack Attack is not going to like going in there, but he does have access to the Kyurem Black. Curious to see if he is going to make any use against Las Vegas Golden Lucarios with that, with the Scizor gone. Well, Feeny does have to worry about a Fusion Bolt. Everything else kind of has to worry about an Ice Beam, Earth Power, things like this. So, will he make good use of that? Will we see another Dark Pulse Kofagrigus? We will have to find out if we get into the games soon enough once I load these movesets in. Don't clear the movesets. Are we good to go? We've got all the damage numbers. Do we have a battle loaded up and ready to go? We do. So I guess that's time, isn't it? First match of the knife? Wow. First match of the night. No knife fight, only Pokemon. Which is, you know, perfectly fine with me. But here's the thing. What? What happened here? Hold on. What do you mean you can't play? Give me 1 second here, ladies and gentlemen. We're having some technical difficulties with one coach. New link. What does this mean? We're going to a new battle? Okay, we're loading into a different battle here. Sorry, guys. We're having some connection issues, I guess? Okay, he's good. Let's go. It happens. It's an online tournament. What do you expect? These are the types of things that are going to go on. But let's see who's going to start taking some points tonight as we got to get into Las Vegas Golden Lucarios versus Manchester Manectric. Las Vegas Golden Lucarios on the close side, Manchester Manectric on the far side. Let's take a look at the teams. We do see that Kyurem Black and that Mienshao and that Zygarde 10%. We got a lot of Pokemon coming in here. Actually, a less defensive team here. We're going to be seeing mainly just probably that Arcanine and that Necrozma coming in. And for Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, that is a big beefy. Actually, he is just going all in on Super Beef mixed with the Lopunny and that Tapu Fini. It is going to come down to who is going to get that damage down, who's going to get through the walls first. Manchester has shown that they don't need to run a full triple defensive core, which is usually his comfort zone, but it hasn't been the case as we do see the Arcanine lead off against the Klefki. We've never seen this Klefki do anything, but this is a fantastic change to all of this as we see the Reflect fly out from Klefki. This is something new. We don't see him usually set up the screens with this, so if this is going to help him tank the hits, this might be the start, but the Thunder Wave is going to come through. Just try and kick this thing out. Does get a bit of air hacks here. Not too bad. The important thing is we'll have to see if this is Light Clay Klefki, because we didn't see an item for Leftover. So if this is Light Clay, he will be able to take a lot of hits from Kyurem Black if it's using any physical attacks, the Zygarde 10%, the Absol, even the Mienshao. There's a lot of things here, and Feeny's actually just going to come in on the Reflect, and Ivan stayed in trying to get something done. So now you feel super safe. The Surf comes out, not even setting up, just wants to straight up do it, knows that he might get phased out. That is a very, very, very good read, actually. You can question it, but I do like the fact he went for the damage as the Weezing now makes its way in. Arcanine can't do anything to this. Necrozma is going to come as a Sludge Bomb is dropped. Might get the poison, does not, but you do have to be worried about Photon Geyser, which means your best switch will be that Celebi. So Las Vegas bringing a decent team here. If that's a setup code for Gurgus, you might even see that come in to try to deal some extra damage. But nonetheless, Klefki does feel like the safest play. Necrozma most likely is just going to be going to predict this and go for the Stealth Rock. Indeed, Ivan does do that. Not a bad start for both players who we were questioning what the back end of the tournament was going to look like for them. But nonetheless, Kofagrigus is feeling safe here. It's probably just going to go for something like that. We go for the Shadow Ball, try and just scare this thing out, do some damage, force some Moonlight potentially. But if there is any type of setup on this, we do see him stay in and go for the Photon Geyser. Not doing a heck of a lot. Trick Room is coming out here, though. This is a different look for Comas, bringing out some different movesets. And this is going to be a big deal because now he will outspeed for quite some time because a lot of Manchester Manetric's team being offensive here is going to be slower for 4 turns. There's a chance for Coma to spread some damage here. Now, the only thing is, the one thing you will not see is that Lopunny come in because it is a fairly fast Pokemon. So it means the most that you'll see it do is come in, take some rocks, go for Fake Out after Mega Evolving, and then getting out. But it could be to stall for the end of it. Nasty Plot is going to happen as the Photon Geyser is going to have to come out now. But this is the thing with Ivan staying here trying to deal damage, not expecting Coma to switch up his team. This is dangerous because now he has 3 turns to spam a +2 Shadow Ball, and this is going to do a lot of damage considering he has nothing to really tank it. Something has to die. Oh, this is a big deal. This is a good turnaround for Coma's look. This is the play you want to see, and this is also the movesets that we've been waiting for. We wanted both to happen. Something clicked, and Coma's like, let's do it. I need those points, and I need to take top 6 right now. Now, if this is running the normal set, which you could see, it most likely will be Shadow Ball HP Fighting. HP Fighting would make a lot of sense depending on the team he's looking at. The Necrozma barely lives. It has been the story of this entire tournament with Necrozma showing its bulk. Barely surviving, is able to get one more Photon Orbital to strike out, as the Arcanine is now going to be sacrificed. Well played by Ivan, trying to use up the turns as much as possible. He does want to preserve that Necrozma for later when he's faster and can go for the likes of the Moonlight, but nonetheless, the Absol can come in. Might be sporting Sucker Punch, which is why he's bringing it in, or he's going to be testing for HP Fighting. Nonetheless, he does have the Sucker Punch. We'll take it out. Magic Bounce being gone kind of sucks, because that means that Klefki could theoretically make its way back in and go for spikes freely on the Absol, but I don't think it's going to be the case. But it actually, no, what am I saying? I meant Reflect, not the case it's not going to come in. But it can threaten with Dazzling Gleam or Play Rough or whatever it would be carrying. So there are a lot of options here for Comas, and the Necrozma's going to make its way in, hoping to God that something would be set up. Nonetheless, it does happen. Necrozma is faster. It should be, yeah. Just barely, too, as the Play Rough is shown. So this is good. Rocky Helmet, though, dealing some damage back to Klefki. So this does mean that you can see more Moonlights fly out of the Necrozma. It will indeed happen as the Thunder Wave is thrown. We aren't seeing really any Toxic. We haven't seen Coma run anything except the likes of the Thunder Wave. So it is safe for Ivan to just kind of stay in here, tested. A layer of spikes will be set up before the Earth Power finally takes the keys down. And that is a valuable keys play if I've ever seen one from Coma this entire season. As now Weezing will make its way in, try and get some work done, but Photon Geyser coming through. That's a one-shot on the gas bag. No Fairy typing to save you yet. That's not going to save you anyways, depending on the movesets or something like that. But nonetheless, isn't going to be doing enough. As now 5-3, Ivan's starting to take lives, but the Feeny is still okay. So is the Lopunny. So now, where does it come down to from here? He has the Reflect, which will protect him against the stuff like a Sucker Punch and things like this. The Celebi is going to make its way in, which will be able to tank the hits up from both the Earth Power and the Photon Geyser. So there is an opportunity for him to just either go for something like the U-turn, go for something of a Grass Attack, try and get some damage down, maybe some Leech Seed to try and stop some Pokemon from being able to stay in here infinitely. But it is kind of scary because when you don't go offensive, because Ivan has that Zygarde 10% in the back, he has that Mega Absol, he even has the Meandra, like everything he can switch into from this Necrozma gives him priority because of the damage that he can deal. So if he's not protecting this properly, he is just going to get set up on potentially. I think, you know, if you're playing the Absol, you might be able to take the hit, but Kieran Black also feeling okay to come in here. The Giga Drain will do nothing. Even if it had gone for Psychic, it wouldn't have done much. You can't risk. I mean, you're probably going to assume that the Necrozma's not going to stay in because it can't get anything done either, but it could have even been in Ivan's best interest to stall out Reflect turns if he wanted to try and get more physical damage off. But coming into here, this might show that he is carrying the Ice Beam. Pretty standard to bring on the Kieran Black, to be honest, if you just want to have... He is mostly a special or a mixed attacker because he doesn't get that many physical moves that are good. So Feeny will make its way in. It can handle pretty much every attack that Kieran Black wants to go for, except that Fusion Bolt. Well predicted here by Ivan. Very, very good read seeing this thing wants to come in and go for the Moonblast. And after 2, it's going to barely live as the Reflect gives it enough tankiness. And Kieran Black is down, but I don't know how much he's going to be hating that because he still has 3 offensive Pokemon left. And Feeny is basically brought down to nothing, so it can't come back in unless it gets at least one more recovery from leftovers. So Zygarde 10% is going to threaten it and say, I can just take you out right now with extreme speed or with 1,000 arrows even. It should be faster, right? It's way faster. Oh, yeah. 1,000 arrows will come in, and now it's down to the Lopunny. The Lopunny has to manage everything at this point. If it doesn't take it down, we could expect that we have seen extreme speed on the Zygarde 10% before. We could see a DD extreme speed. If he goes for it, Koma's going to be feeling bad because you could say that Weezing could have been important. However, it would have been nice to have against the Kyurem Black, and the Mienshao mainly, obviously 1,000 arrows, I believe, bypasses the likes of... Oh, thank you. It does bypass the likes of Levitate. So it is going to be difficult for tanking up, but at least you would have a physical Pokemon. And with that being an offensive ProPokeBowl, might not have the full defense specimen, considering that it is also... I don't remember if Nasty Plot runs max defense. I don't think it does. I think it's just a Calm Mind that runs max defense. He's definitely running 0 speed, I would hope. But here it comes. The Fake Out is going to come in. He can try and get some damage like this. But now you have to... Well, Celebi's actually not a bad switch in here. We'll be able to tank up Outrage, 1,000 arrows, E-Speed, stuff like that. If it means that you could try and chip this thing down... We don't know what move it's carrying. Could be carrying a Z-Crystal or a Lumberry, but the Extreme Speed will come out. Not a lot of damage as the return is just going to take the dog to the park. As it is going to be 3-2. It's looking okay as the Necrozma stays out here. It might be able to tank the return. I don't know how much damage it would be doing here. He's going to go for it. He does not even get close to the kill. And the Photon Geyser will spell doom for Koma, as that Celebi was an easy switch in, but doesn't take it. Tries to check the damage calc, so I'll go into the calculator. And now it is Celebi against the likes of a Mega Absol. And game one should be easily going in the hands of Manchester Manectric. Yes, he will take out Necrozma, but at what cost? He is down to a Pokemon that's not going to stand a great chance against the might that is Mega Absol. We're not going to see a Leaf Storm fly out here. I don't think this thing can even survive, or even it'll barely survive the likes of a knockoff from the Mega Absol. And then on top of that, you have an untouched Mienshao that could most likely outspeed, and then go for U-turn and finish this all off. So, well played. It did look really good for Koma. Again, got there, and then you see that weird switch, and then he got predicted, which is obviously good on Ivan to predict that Tapu Fini coming in. But nonetheless, the U-turn will come through one shot, and that's going to be game one going over to Manchester Manectric. On the bright side, though, it's not too difficult for Koma to see where the changes have to happen. Because, you know, you see that, obviously, Mega Lopunny's not going to be able to do that much damage to the likes of... Not going to be able to do too much damage to the likes of the Necrozma, because we've talked about it nonstop. The Necrozma's bulkiness is just too much to manage, right? It's a really ridiculous Pokemon to get through if you don't have anything set up on it, and especially if you're weak to the attacks that it uses. It's always run Photon Geyser and Earth Power, so if he's just carrying the same moveset because that's the moveset that works for Necrozma, you gotta know that, well, if I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna rely on Mega Lopunny to sweep in the end, I gotta know the damage calcs. And that's a sign that he didn't really know the damage calcs, so... Well played by Ivan, tanked it up very well. It did look scary for a little bit, though, because we saw the Cofagrigus set up, and we don't know exactly what the full moveset is. But nonetheless, it did look quite scary when that was set up. So I think when we look towards game number 2 here, we do want to see Las Vegas Golden Lucario's pretty much do the same thing. Send out the right Pokemon. Send that Celebi out on the Necrozma. Try and stall out if you're carrying the likes of the Bleach Seed, Toxic, whatever he's carrying with it, even if it was the likes of a U-turn. Puts more and more pressure down on the Necrozma. Get the switch advantage, start setting up on it, because we do know that Tapu Fini gets a good setup against most of these Pokemon. Arcanine's not going to be doing a heck of a lot outside of trying to handle that Celebi. Yes, it handles the Klefki, but with Reflect, it's not a great lead for him, so we might see the Necrozma just lead against the Klefki now, knowing that if it is using Reflect, the Earth Power is not going to do that much. So really, both players have a good amount of play here that they could do, knowing that their leads could matter quite a bit. Yes, it will surprise Ivan at the fact that these were the moves that we saw come out of Koma's team, just because we've seen him run with the same or very similar things week after week. So when we see a switch, no one's underestimating, but definitely everyone's going to be starting to think like, okay, so if he's going to start bringing this stuff, what should I be concerned with when it comes down to what lead I'm going to be using? Will he actually make the same switches? Will he play into his own mind, right? Because Ivan has second-guessed himself before. Koma's definitely second-guessed himself and shown that there is that element of you know, one wrong move and he actually loses a ton of pressure. But Ivan has gotten into his own mind many times in the past, so... Can he answer the Kofagrigus? That's a great question. His best bet would be the Togekiss, depending on what his Togekiss's build is. Because if that's Shadow Ball HP fighting, it has a chance to just go for Dazzling Gleam. Or not even Dazzling Gleam. Like, it can't... The best you would have is... In Trick Room, you have to tank the hits and then carry Roost, right? And then outside of Trick Room, he tries to flinch it to death with Air Slash. But really, Absol, yes, if it's not carrying HP fighting and it's not in +2 and in Trick Room. If it's carrying that. Thank you, Sai. But yeah, I mean, Nidoqueen, depending on what the build of Nidoqueen is, like, at this point, all he needs to do is really look at Kofagrigus and say, I'm not letting the same setup happen, because we saw both Trick Room and Nasty Plot. So if one or the other happens, I don't know, what is the damage calc? Actually, let me quickly check here if I can even do a damage calc between Kofagrigus and Absol. Because if he is carrying the move that we would usually see, well, that doesn't help me because the move doesn't show up. Like, even a Shadow Ball... A Shadow Ball +2 does not do a heck of a lot. Let's just get that out of the way right now. Why isn't it showing me his last move? I can't actually damage calc that. Sometimes the Pokemon Showdown calculator doesn't pick up hidden powers, if it's a hidden power, or sometimes it'll skip a move because it's repetitive, or maybe it's spelled wrong, who knows. It should be spelled wrong because it went through the Pokepaste. But, yeah. Uh-oh, I broke my computer, one sec. Forget this. Hold on. Are we good? Okay, we're good. You will see some lag. I clicked the wrong button. Alright. No, Stack Attack, I won't win him anything here. The nice thing is what Ivan brought makes sense, but if Coma can abuse that in game number 2, he might be able to take a point. It really is, if you get to see some value out of the Kofagrigus, it's going to be very, very strong for him. And that excites me because that will mean you could see Coma take a point off of someone who we didn't think would happen. But hey, anything can happen to the Pro Pokeball. Let's go. Game number 2, Las Vegas Golden Lucarios, not switching it up. Manchester Metric saying, you know what? I'm kind of feeling the Nidoqueen a little bit this time, so let's go with that. Arcanine not pulling much weight for him, and Nidoqueen does give him more pressure to lead against the likes of the Klefki, so doesn't even have to worry about taking any damage at all. It will be the Feeny versus Nidoqueen lead. Very nice call here from Coma, seeing that he does make that switch, and that means that if there is going to be that Reflect, we'll try and hit on the special side, but that means Feeny can come in and just instantly threaten with Surf. That's going to be a lot of damage that he doesn't want to take. Would be a nice check for him, though, to see if it is going to be an Assault Vest or a Nidoqueen, or a Nidoqueen with Life Orb. Bugs are weak, Sharking. We stick to the script. So let's see, what is the play here? I'm pretty sure Manchester Manectric have to switch into that Necrozma, but the thing is, he has really nothing to handle this, and because this can set up instantly, if he doesn't have anything, well, no, hold on, they both have to worry about each other, right? Surf can come out from Nidoqueen, Tapu Fini has to worry about the Sludge Wave. In terms of speed, if Fini is max speed, it will outspeed, but I think this does not run max speed, depending on what he wants with it. But, I mean, hey, I can't even call standard per se. I think you do need to be careful here. If you take too much damage, you might not get the value. You would have to do a damage calc with a +1 Surf against Nidoqueen, because +1 special defense should give you enough to live one hit. It should, as the Thunderbolt actually comes in as the neutral alternative here, and Surf is going to fly out, so they are going to exchange damage. But here's the thing, I think Manchester Metric comes out on top, because Feeny does have a great potential to step and try and do as much damage as it can, even taking 1 or 2 Pokemon with it. Now he's brought himself into a range where multiple little chip hits here can basically take it down. By chip hits, I mean Zygarde 10% drop it 1,000 arrows. As the Thunderbolt will come in, get the crit on the Kofagrigus. Kofagrigus feeling safe enough to try and do some type of setup, but I do think we are going to see the Absol come in early, because you do not want this thing going for Trick Room, or you don't want it going for HP Fighting, or its Nasty Plot. Just try and get something done here, so This does feel like it should be easier for Ivan, but Koma is forcing the hand to see if Ivan will overthink it, maybe. Because if I am Koma, I go for the Trick Room, and then I go into Clef Key, knowing that, okay, well, you don't want to have the Absol in on the Clef Key, which means you now get free setup, and you don't want to risk the Magic Bounce. You can set up Reflect first to see if Manchester Magic actually stays in, and if they do, well, it's like, okay, well, I have the Reflect up, now I can threaten with Play Rough, or I can predict the switch. Instead, we just see the Earth Power come in, and the Trick Room is going to come out now, so not afraid of this thing setting up, knows that he can do a lot of damage. I forgot that this thing could just kind of punch Kofagrigus to death from underneath, so... But it is a Trick Room. The Shadow Ball should kill from this range. Should kill. So now I think you need to see that switch, unless you are really sacrificing that Nidoqueen. Honestly, has this done its job? It does an even better job. It actually just barely tanks it. The Sludge Wave will take it out. So that's one threat gone. That is most certainly Assault Vest Nidoqueen, but now the Clef Key comes in. I don't know if you want this. Yes, he's in the Trick Room. He will be slower. Actually, yeah, it's just barely slower. And it wouldn't be running any speed. So Play Rough will take the Nidoqueen out as the Crossbow will be coming in to tank it up. Now, here's the thing, though. Exchanging hazards, not the worst for the likes of Las Vegas Golden Lucario, because that does mean that Nidoqueen is basically toast. So he will have the Nidoqueen come in again as the Thunder Wave comes out. Koma trying to catch maybe an offensive Pokemon that would try and make a double switch in, but there's not really much to do as the Play Rough actually misses too, and he's going to lose his keys again for nothing. But what is the Thunder Wave? What was that going to accomplish? It's going to try and just take the Necrozma into its own hands, but didn't need to. It could have doomed the Nidoqueen. Even if the switch happened, you force the Nidoqueen in, and then you have Weezing or something come in and just try and do something, but I think he's gone too far now. With the Kofagrigus being taken down with the amount of damage it actually took on the special side. Wasn't afraid of the setup, and I mean, now the Clef Key will come in. This makes the most sense. The Stealth Rock will be sent through. You might even see Nidoqueen sacrificed here so that you can get a free switch into Absol. You can see a free switch into Mienshao, as we saw it can go for a U-turn. Pretty much kill this thing in one go. So there's a lot of things that can happen here. What's going on? Yeah, you're fine. Hey, Marie, thanks for 23 months resubscription, fellow Nooblet. That's exactly what we're going to see there. The Mienshao comes in after the Nidoqueen sack, and now you have to be worried about Switch Initiative. But the Weezing is alive this time, so not the worst, but it's still not looking great because this does mean Zygarde 10%. Actually, it still has to worry about a burn. Rocky Helmet's going to do a lot to it. The Crossbow is, I was about to say, the safer way of doing this because Photon Geyser has proven that many teams cannot beat this. The Tapu Fini is going to make its way in, but with all the damage for Stealth Rock, all the damage took before, it's just going to be killed off. He has nothing left. He can't handle this. The Celebi's going to come in. But again, it's just another switch to I was going to say Kieran Black, and then you can just go into Mienshao or just try and just manage all the hits. The Psychic's going to do nothing. It just feels too easy at this point for Manchester Benetric. The Ice Beam will come out as the Earth Power happens, but it's no damage. It's a defensive Celebi with damaging moves. Not even a Leech Seed flying out. The Celebi is down to a bunny in a gas bag, and it is not looking good for Koma. Their run for top 6 is not feeling great right now. High Jump Kick comes through, sure, but now, that was a Scarf Kieran Black, by the way, but now, what comes out? Necrozma is not very hurt. It can tank the hits, kill a Photon Geyser, even heal up if you wanted to feel a little bit cheekier. The Weezing will make its way in, but it's not going to be good enough. In fact, you're actually just giving more damage to the bunny. It's gone. Lopunny's gone. The chances of Koma, he has 2 games left in this tournament. If he wants anything to happen, it had to start in this game, and it's not looking great for him, as Manchester Benetric are going to be feeling wonderful, taking a 2-0 on the week. And that's going to feel great for Ivan. Well read on the play there. Handling the Kofagrigus, no problem. Trying to get that Clef Key thrown off. Less value from Clef Key. Much less value from Clef Key. Reading, making the right switch prediction. And just taking Koma down again. Well, that's the best it's going to get for Koma. He has one mash to try and hold it in there. So, at this point, it's just down to what he could do in his last match. That was his second to last match, if I recall correctly. So it will come back to his last match, and his last match is against... Let me check here really quickly. Who is his last match against? Why are you broken? Why is everything broken? I don't know. Silence. His last match is against TC Thunderous, so he's got to take something against Sharking, or that could be the end for the playoffs run, considering that his only bet now is to see Ice Cold nonstop 0-2, and then they have to do a tiebreaker because they both got 1-1 against each other. So GG to Ivan, well played by him. Coma, GG, a good game nonetheless. Game 1 looked very promising, potentially for the last time that he will fight in the Pro Pokeball Season 5, potentially, but there's always hope. Coming up next is the featured matchup of the week between I Am Groot and the Fortnite Ninjas. Sweet D and Mitch looking to grab himself some points. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to bet on this match, all you got to do is look at the options. Bet your Nubits between 1 and 30,000 Nubits. Try and win yourself some things, depending on what you think the results of the match will be. We'll see you after the break. Once I get you some music. Where am I here? Bop, got it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ProPokeBowl Season 5, Week number 7. We're getting into the second match of the night between I Am Groot and the Fortnite Ninjas. Don't look at the points when you look at this matchup because both of them have been doing a phenomenal job in the tournament. Mitchie W, obviously being completely undefeated, has won all 4 of his series plus his 2 buys that he had throughout the season. He has pretty much earned his place at the top of the standings. For I Am Groot, a lot of unfortunate hacks has led to him losing a lot of points, currently sitting tied for 4th seed, but we do know that he has, between at least what we have analyzed, one of the best, if not the best draft in the entire tournament. So, Fortnite has lost their Tapu Bulu. I Am Groot has lost their Suicune. Makes the most sense. Tapu Bulu would have crushed Suicune. Suicune was banned because you don't want to have to deal with Suicune. Can get quite obnoxious to try and manage it. And, you know, when it slips away and it starts setting up on you with the combines, we've seen what happens to a lot of people when they can't manage the Suicune. But when we take a look at this, when we took a look at this, Gamma called actually a 1-1 on the podcast. For myself, called a 2-0 because I feel like I Am Groot just has more Pokemon to be able to set up and take advantages and sweep better than Fortnite Ninjas can. So this could be the first night where we do see a loss for Fortnite. Even if it's a 1-1, it's not going to mean much for points implications between the two of them in the tournament, but it does mean a lot, and TC Thunders are going to be watching this match very carefully because a single game drop for Mitchie does mean that TC Thunders could come out on top with 2-0s and start taking over for first seed. As you guys may or may not know, first seed in this tournament gets you to choose your semifinal opponent, whereas second seed just takes the opposite. You both get an elimination round bye, so getting top 2 is fantastic. But if you want full control to try and give yourself the best advantage to give yourself into the finals, then you're going to want that first seed, and that's what Mitchie W wants to hold right now. Having said that, I do think these two have played with each other quite a bit. There's years of experience for both of them. They have practiced quite a bit together as well throughout multiple Pro Pokeballs as well as just on their own time. So there could be a lot of mind games coming through this. There's a lot that could just go on between them. I'm super excited to see how both these are going to be looking up against each other, but at the moment it does feel like a Sweet D weighted battle. There we go. Let's get into the match here. Already ready to go. I believe the betting is done right now. Perfect. Look at that. Excellent timing. Let's just get into it, ladies and gentlemen. This is a match you're going to want to keep your eyes on the screen for, because it is going to be I Am Groot on the close side, Fortnite Ninjas on the far side. Let's take a look at the teams they brought. They do have a lot of impressive Pokemon. They're all showing up at the exact same time, so let's see. That Gastrodon was a big deal. We did talk about the Quagsire as well on the podcast. It's going to be a lot of trying to stop each other from sweeping, but we don't actually, I was surprised we're not going to see Lycanroc. Maybe Lycanroc will come out later, but for now, it is just very safe Pokemon here. You could expect something to come out from Latias, but the Sub-Zero Slammer comes right through, gets a critical hit, and kills off the Powdon. Start this off. Icium Z Mamoswine. Would not expect that from first looks, but nonetheless, is going to get the kill on a Powdon. So that means less sand to have to deal with, less chip damage to have to worry about. Although the majority of the team doesn't really care about it. Conkeldurr would be probably the worst to have to deal with it, depending on the builds that we see from Latias. Could be a Mega Latias as well. Once it becomes too tanky, it just becomes too difficult to manage. Terrakion will make its way in now. Seeing its Icium Z, Terrakion is going to outspeed. Don't have to worry about this being a Scarf Mamoswine. Quagsire will come and tanked up the hit perfectly fine. It's a 3-hit KO, which means you don't want to risk getting burned with the Scald, although, well, no, because it can keep going for recovery until it gets to a safe place to try and burn it. But the Blissey is going to make its way in, makes the most sense. Toxic is going to miss. I thought it was supposed to be Sweet D getting all the hacks, but nonetheless, he is going to get lucky. It wouldn't have mattered. Natural Cure Blissey doesn't care about Toxic in the long run. Anyways, Fortress is going to come in, makes the most sense to go for the Seismic Toss. As we mentioned, they're going to make the most sound plays because that's what they're doing the entire season, all the seasons they're in, all the tournaments they're in. They are looking good. A second Seismic Toss comes out as Stealth Rocks are put in. Conkeldurr will make its way in now. The damage is going to be nice. If this is a Flame Orb, Conkeldurr just gives it more chip damage. You're not going to be staying in here trying to get any work done. Plus, Flame, well, actually, no. Toxic these days, I think, would do more damage than Burn overall. But Gastrodon will come in. Drain Punch will happen. That's a lot of damage he's got to take, though. That was not looking clean for I Am Groot. That actually puts it in a 2-hit KO range. I wonder if that's a range. That's why he did that. But if he lives this next hit, he can go for a recover and try and stand a chance here to try and stall it out. Because the important thing is going to be just trying to wait in here, get to a position where if he stays healthy enough, either gets, he doesn't really have a good pivot unless he goes to something like Bombi, but everything's not going to like taking the damage. So if you get yourself to a point where you just force out Fortnite ninjas, it is not going to matter either way because Gastron is just punched to death. Nothing left for that. It is going to be 6-4 already for Fortnite. Looking great in this tournament. Right, Bombi is the only answer, but Rotom Heat says hello to anything. As Quiver Dance will happen, but are we seeing an HP Rock? That'd be the best it could do, and I don't even know if it's going to kill from this range. It is going to be an HP Rock. It doesn't even bring it low enough as Overheat will roast the bee. This is way different from what we thought was going to be happening, and even then we thought that Sweet Tea, if in a 1-1, would be taking game number... Well, no, never mind. This is exactly what would happen with Gamma gets his way, because Sweet Tea will be taking in game number 2 based on his predictions. But the Fortress will come in, try and tank the damage. Is going to give it a lot of recoil nonetheless. If he does get the kill, he will get the +1, which is a good start for Sweet Tea to try and make his comeback here. One thing I'm surprised you actually didn't see is there's no Superior. Maybe too worried he wouldn't get enough kills with it, but nonetheless, he is going to take out the Fortress, but it was cost. He has the +1. But if that's going to be a Quagsire coming in, he doesn't care about Moxie. The Unaware is going to make it very, very resilient. Takes no damage whatsoever. Will be able to go for the recover. And this means that Groot will just keep killing himself to recoil. So Fortnite sitting in a pretty comfortable position here. And even what's even worse for him is if you had the Mamoswine come in. Mamoswine, I believe, outspeeds Honchkrow. So Ice Shard... Sucker Punch has positive priority, doesn't it? Does it? Is it +2 or +1 priority? I don't remember. If it's the same priority, he gets outsped. Either way. Nonetheless, Brave Bird's going to happen. He's trying to do as much damage as he can to the Quagsire, but the Quagsire is just going to stand stoic. Does not care at all. But what is the win from here? It's going to have to be Blissey and Terrakion trying to manage the best they can, but I think he's just going to have to call it here. He's got not a lot left. The Latias isn't even touched. He has to lock himself into a move most likely with this Terrakion unless he's going to set it up. Not even 50%. Quagsire is such a pain to deal with. Goes for the Earthquake to bring it low, which is all he really needs to happen. Yes, he's not even going to get the kill. I'm sure the Earthquake's going to come in. Not even. He's going to recover to make sure he remembers that Quagsire needs to be handled by Superior or something else is going to take it out. But nonetheless, Mitchie's going to rub it in. As at this point, doesn't matter what he does. He's going to get crit, and even then he's out of range of dying to a critical hit. So we'll take the Terrakion down, and it's looking already like a very quick 1-0 lead for our top of the standings, Fortnite Ninjas. They will exchange Toxics, which makes a lot of sense over time, but I mean, Conkeldur's in the back. We can see him sitting here and go for recover. We can see him just stall as much as he wants to, but it is Mitch's game. Well played, honestly. I mean, it does look like I Am Groot had very little to handle what we're seeing, so you can see all the stall all you want, but in the end, the Conk comes in, the Heal Bell comes out, the Punch will come through, Scrambled Eggs are served. And that's just going to be game number 1, going over to Fortnite. GG. And you know, I don't think, well, let's put it this way. That crushes my predictions that I had on the podcast. But Gamma still has the 1-1 sitting for him. And I think that's going to make a lot of bettors sad, too. Because really, it looked Sweet Tea favored. Thought he would have a lot more done there. I'm surprised I didn't see the Superior, but maybe just not think he can get a lot done with it. Regardless, hey, you know what? I don't think Mitchie's gonna mind, because like we said, he's in the race to keep that first seed alive. So if he keeps taking points, there's no chance really for Shark King to take over, especially since it would take a 1-1. If Mitchie's not dropping it to Sweet Tea, he's gonna have to drop it to, and Traverse City Thunder's gonna have to take it by his own hand in our last week of battles when those two go up against each other. But let's talk about it. I mean, wow. Yeah. He literally had nothing for Conkeldurr. Nothing at all. He couldn't get the Honchkrow in safe enough. The Flame Orb was set up perfectly fine. And yeah, it's just, it'd have to switch in and take the damage. And even then, he has the likes of Quagsire to tank it up. Everything to tank it up. There's not much really to say on that, because you'd have to see some switches come out here for I Am Groot if he wants to try and take the battle back. Of course, we did have that Banette trade and that Oricorio trade both come through this week for either of them, but I don't think it's going to matter much. The Banette might matter a little more here than the Oricorio, but nonetheless, I mean, what could we see? What could we honestly see? The Crobat might make its way in, maybe to try and get some Brave Bird damage. I don't know exactly, but he's going to need to answer that, because if it's doing that much damage to his Gastrodon, and that's the Pokemon that was supposed to look like Quagsire, tank up the hits, and then go for recovers, stall it out, try and just go for damage over time, despite the fact it's going to be healing nonstop, he can still outstall it to an extent, but, you know, maybe it's not going the way we thought it would. Nonetheless, hey, you know what? The draft is strong if they're good against each other. I really don't know what to say. I mean, I would like to see what the Serperior would do against that particular team. At least it would give him some speed and give him a lot of damage to deal on the special side. Conkeldurr wouldn't have to worry as much, but I don't think it could take the Flame Orb Drain Punch very well, so... Or if it's carrying Ice Punch, that could be looking good either. And even then, Drain Punch plus Mach Punch would manage it. So that's going to be an uphill struggle for him. I think you may have to see the Banette come in to manage that, because stops a lot of the damage. It's already going to get burned, which is not a big deal. But the likes of just, even if it's carrying Shadow Claw, 165 attacks, going to be doing a lot of damage. Won't be healing up against it either, so it can give that incremental damage, just constant damage, and force Conkeldurr out. Maybe Sweet D can pivot off of that, but otherwise... If it's not Crobat and it's getting Ice Punched, I don't know what else he's got for this. Because Crobat does feel good here too, but how much does it give for the rest of the team? I don't know. I really, really don't know. But whatever it is, apparently they've both figured it out and they already want to get into game number 2. So let's give it to them. Game number 2 between I Am Groot and the Fortnite Ninjas. We want to see what both of these guys could do. Oh, wait, we found the banger. Hey, I found the song! I didn't know if I was ever going to find it. We found it. You may sour please in chat as much as you like. But it is going to be Fortnite up 1. Can Sweet D pull this back? He needs those points. He doesn't want to risk being shoved down to 6th or worse. I don't think it's going to happen. But imagine seeing I Am Groot having to climb it through. I mean, I don't care if he goes to the elimination round, but imagine seeing the results overall of just losing these points to hacks and then losing them to matches that you could see if he's playing it out. He's like, this person plays standard. Can I beat a standard player? And if the answer is no, what do you do? What do you hope for Sweet D? But I'm not counting him out anytime soon. It will be that Hippowdon versus Fortress lead. Knowing the ICMZ comes out, that was a huge deal. Pretty big thing to catch him off guard. The Earthquake will come through as the Toxic does come out. So trying to break the Sturdy right away, but at the same time maybe predicting something else to try and come in and start doing stuff. But nonetheless, the Toxic will be fired out from the Fortress. We also do see that Banette come in and the Serperior. So these are going to be good answers. It will answer the Quagsire and the Conkeldurr. So not too bad for him. Depending on also what he's carrying on that Banette, you can carry a lot of things. It has Prankster when it Mega Evolves, so it has Will-O-Wisp Pressure if you want to burn some things to try and get some damage. It does carry Shadow Sneak. It has Destiny Bond, Knock Off, really powerful Shadow Claws, and Shadow Sneaks. So it could do a fair amount. Anyways, where's the play from here? Where do we actually go from here? Because now the Hippowdon once again leads. He needs to get the Stealth Rock up, but he is staring down the Fortress, so the Fortress actually makes this a little difficult for him. Especially now the Fortress can just sit out here, take no damage, and Rapid Spin, Gyro Ball, whatever he wants to do to the Hippowdon. He's feeling safe. So he will actually just Whirlwind after the Stealth Rocks are placed. Rotom Heat is brought in. Not the absolute worst. Yes, you can't Volt Switch, but a switch here back into Fortress isn't even a big deal. It gets him nothing. Mammoth will just make its way instead. So trying to make a more aggressive play out here from Mitchie, and it will be now staring down the ICMZ. ICMZ can just be used again for free, and something has to die. I think the Hippowdon is just going to sit here and take it because he got the Stealth Rock down. Yes, he's not going to get any sand damage. He's not going to be doing anything anyways, but he got the rocks up, and I think that's going to be the best he's going to hope for. Does he have anything to scare out? If it's HP Fire Serperior, it scares out Fortress, so I think Serperior might come in after Hippowdon's taken down, if Hippowdon is actually taken down. He might value something else being taken down instead. We'll have to see. Groot thinking out his plays. This was also randomly chosen, by the way. But nonetheless, what is Groot going to answer this with? This is kind of scary for him because at this point he knows that Icium Z Mamoswine is just going to take a life. And he won't even get a way to do it, and it will just be tanking it up. So this makes the most sense. At least this time he has a Pokemon to switch in to scare this thing out. So the Bannet is going to make its way in instead, maybe trying to prioritize. You could see the Conkeldurr come in. I wonder if he'll actually go for knockoff, predicting the Conkeldurr to not give it a thing. The Quagsire is going to be the safe play, though. The Mega comes in. Shadow Claw instead, so just opted for the damage on whatever was going to be in. So knockoff will happen. Those leftovers are gone. We will see a Toxic dropped onto Bannet. Not actually the worst trade. I think the fact that Bannet is taken low and we'll have to worry about being killed off by Shadow Claw means that this Pokemon is not going to be tanking up hits anymore. So with Quagsire down, oh, barely lives it again! Oh yeah, 31%. I saw that number wrong. I saw a different number. Nonetheless, Serperior will come in, forcing out that recover, which means Serperior's now feeling safe, and this is the start of I Am Groot coming back, because this is the Pokemon you wanted to see. This is the one we were talking about. Just has that flexibility set up on anything. Start going for Leaf Storm, start putting down more damage. The Latias will make its way in, yes, but at least we get to see a new Pokemon come out here from Fortnite Ninjas. The Mega Latias is a thing, and he's going to go for it. He's hoping to God he's not going to be taking too much damage for this. Ice Beam is on Latias, but it's not going to do enough, as they even +4 Serperior. And this thing will kill with the Leaf Storm hitting, because it's got +4, 32% on a +2. The Latias is down, and it has been brought into range to die to Mach Punch if Conkeldurr is carrying, which means that Mamoswine also has the Ice Shard. That is another thing to remember. I was going to say, if he goes into Conkeldurr, tries to get the kill, he can get the Flame Orb boost at the same time. Mega Bannet will have to come in and take the hit, but this does scare out Mamoswine because he has to worry about Priority Will-O-Wisp, and I don't think, well, actually, Priority D-Bond is also another thing he could go for. There's a couple of options here for I Am Groot. The mind games begin as now you have to worry about Prankster. Prankster's always been an annoying ability. And this is just one more thing now that Fortnite has to play around. And I think this is a great switch here for I Am Groot. Let's see if he actually goes for the Will-O-Wisp. He does go for the D-Bond, so that does last until the next move used by Bannet. So the Flame Orb will be set up safely. He is just going to go for as much damage as he possibly can. Ice Punch is revealed. We pretty much figured that would be the case. But in this particular situation, Conkeldurr is brought low, and Honchkrow is safe to come in. It spams Brave Bird. You now have to see Rotom Heat come in, but doesn't want to come in on the rocks. And with that Quagsire, it is at full percent, but it's going to start taking hits. It is going to be Fortress coming in. He will, based on that damage calc, he might just barely live and be able to go for Rapid Spin at the very least to get rid of the rocks. We'll have to see if he can get a slightly higher roll. Serperior will make its way in, as Gyro Ball does come out. Good read by Fortnite. Made a lot of sense. Try and go for as much damage as possible. Maybe he's trying to bring in a range so that I could die to Ice Shard with Mamoswine. So he just has the pressure here. There's so much damage being done. Double priority between Mach Punch and that Ice Shard. Mamoswine is just pulling his weight in this game. It does make a lot of sense, so probably doesn't care about the rocks, also considering that he just has the Mamoswine and the Conkeldurr need to come in. They don't really care about taking that Stealth Rock damage, so Size of Toss will happen. He has to get the Fortress out of here, so the Toxic is dropped, but on the bright side, Fortress has been managed and the rocks are here to stay, but is it too late for I Am Groot? Keeping it more competitive, that's for sure, but the two Pokemon brought in to manage this battle have been eliminated, and is down to a Terrakion, which hasn't shown its face in Game 2 yet, and that Honchkrow, which has already started taking some damage. Will take more damage. How much recoil can it take with as many Pokemon as it possibly can? We'll have to see, because I think Conkeldurr feels pretty comfortable coming in, just going for a Drain Punch. Because if Blissey stays in, he heals the full. If Honchkrow switches in, he dies. Terrakion also not want to take it. I think it's just a Conkeldurr finish, or at least a Conkeldurr switch to just do that damage, and it will exactly be that. Something has to take the hit and give Conkeldurr healing, and then Quagsire still fully healed. This could be a continuation of the win streak Fortnite Ninjas have held throughout Season 5. Will this be the 2-0 against what we thought would be one of the most anticipated battles in this tournament? And will we actually see Sweetie have to worry about being now at 12 points? Because Drain Punch will take out the Honchkrow. It is 2v4 Terrakion. Probably feeling okay to go for close combat and take out Conkeldurr here, let's be honest. Quagsire does not care, though. Look at his stupid face. Does not care. If he gets a crit, though, if he gets a crit on the Quagsire, actually, there is no leftover, so if he gets a slightly higher roll or crit, he still stands a chance, and it comes through. He does get the kill on the Quagsire. Okay, so now Rotom Heat, most likely coming in, has to be the answer. No, it's going to be Conkeldurr, probably just going for Mach Punch. Oh yeah, he's at -2 defense, so it makes sense for Mach Punch here. So you're probably going to see the Blissey come in. He might predict that and actually go for Drain Punch. And he doesn't have to. Oh, he barely lives, though! Which means now if he wanted to heal... Ooh, okay, hold on. Is there enough damage here to happen with it? We might see Conkeldurr go for Mach Punch, and then we're going to have to see Rotom Heat probably come in to tank up and just waste another turn, and then maybe Ice Shard brings him into range with all his damage. Let's see. Yeah, he's going to be dead. A close comeback for the close combat for Terrakion, but with that -1 defense, Mamosine says hi, says bye with the priority, and ladies and gentlemen, a 2-0 for our top player officially in Pro Pokeball Season 5. GG. You know what? It was a great effort coming out of Sweet D, and I think you saw that he was like, I don't got the best things for this, but Game 2 definitely looked a lot better with the composition he brought. Actually gained advantages here and there, but in the end, priority, the Mamoswine, just with the ICMZ just wrecking Hippowdon, not being able to, you know, I mean, Hippowdon was there to set up the rocks mainly, but just not enough to get done on the side of I Am Groot. So GG with that. You are going to see, no matter what the results are for the next couple of weeks, it's going to matter on Traverse City Thunderous to keep up the momentum with their 2-0s and then take down Fortnite Ninjas to try and hold that first seed. But we're not done here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're not looking all the way to week number 10. We are going to look at our last match of the night after this break between Ice Cold and Lunar Cresselias. Don't go anywhere. This is always the most awkward transition, so we'll make it the least awkward transition. Welcome back to the ProPokeBowl Season 5, Week 7, with our final match of the night. Between Ice Cold and Lunar Cresselia. Initiator. And Tyler Poke Trainer. I have to do a lot of things at once, so you have to understand I get a little distracted. Anybody would. Let's be real. Initiator and Tyler Poke. What can we say other than it's crunch time similar to Las Vegas Golden Lucario's? They have the battles to start going ahead. I believe Lunar Cresselia are playing every single week we see them for the remainder of the tournament, whereas, if I recall correctly, Initiator only has 3 matches to play. So, for both of them, yes, we have an extra game on Lunar Cresselia, but in order for them to keep up with the points that are happening right now, they need to make sure they can get into top 6. With the 0-2 tonight for I Am Groot, makes it very attainable for Ice Cold to run away with it, or Lunar Cresselia to start putting pressure down. Because the other thing you gotta look at is I Am Groot only has 2 matches left, so if you start taking extra points here and you stay ahead of them, that's the time to say it gets spooky for Sweet D's existence in the playoffs. I don't think it's gonna be a huge deal per se, but stranger things have happened in this tournament, and this is gonna be no different. So what are we looking at between Initiator and Lunar Cresselia? Ice Cold lost their Heatran. Lunar Cresselia lost their Sylveon. Sylveon actually being a Pokemon that I guess Initiator sees is not going to be great for him to sweep through. Obviously, the huge reliance on that Crabominable, and when he gets access to it, the Mawile, means that he doesn't want to have to deal with this little thing that can blast him. Obviously, likes a Crabominable, and all his other Pokemon are kind of weak to it, but he doesn't have a lot. Like, it signals to me if he wants this gone, something like a Hydreigon might make its appearance, and the fact that Sylveon's kind of slow might scare it with the Pixelate Hyper Voice. Obviously, Crabominable outside of the Trick Room is going to get nothing done against it unless he ran something like a Solvus. I don't think you want to on that crap. In this particular matchup, I'm not exactly sure how I'm feeling about it. We do have to talk about the new Pokemon, though, being added. The Starstruck mythical Jirachi makes his way onto the team over the Excadrilla Pokemon that we saw used a fair amount on Tyler Poke Trainer's team, which is very interesting how it switches it out. I do feel like the big weakness that we talked about nonstop with Lunar Cresselia's draft was the defensive option, the pivot options. Now he has another U-turner. Now he has another defensive, very flexible Pokemon. I feel like this is the way that Tyler Poke starts to make his run now. Try to bring Pokemon that can do many, many things. That's why we like the Shaman's little flexibility, the Scarf Miltank, but that's more of a meme. And, you know, a lot of his Pokemon, if you look at the Seismitoad, you look at Tyrantrum, they do have more than one option. Jirachi brings many options to a team, plus a very bulky Steel type might help a little bit. Let's see how it actually plays out for him, because Ice Cold do have to worry about one thing. Funnily enough, this comes in at a very weird time, because technically you could flinch Pokemon to death outside of Trick Room. So if you stop the setup of Trick Room, this makes a big deal for Initiator's team. So it might make me think that he's going to have a little bit more focus on not worrying about that and more worrying on just trying to get the Jirachi down. What does he have to hit that with effectively? Well, Heatran was a Pokemon, which makes me think Jirachi is definitely getting to see play. Moltres might come in here, but you don't really want to worry and use Moltres when you got the likes of a Tyrantrum, which can start spamming free head smashes. That's another Pokemon I really want to bring up. We have not seen enough Tyrantrum. It's got a lot of moves that can really just put damage into things. It's got Fire Fang for the Ferrothorn. It's got Head Smash for everything else. Like, nothing likes this move. Tyrantrum would have had Earthquake for the Heatran, but with Heatran being gone, what takes the hit? Nothing wants to take it. Defensive Garmador is defensive trash, literally. It's going to take it down. So, if we see a mix of this Tyrantrum setup with a Jirachi support, I have a big feeling that Lunar Cresselia could take it out, especially when Ice Cold knows that, one, they've been highly ranked by both myself and Amagam, which doesn't mean a big deal, but, you know, it is a confidence booster, because we do rank him pretty high in this tournament. Both of us placed him at 4th place out of 8 in terms of all the coaches remaining in the tournament. And you might have said that maybe Ice Cold didn't look great to go into playoffs with the other 3 coaches in, but now that we've seen the team is slowly being developed, abusing the fact that he can trade for all these new Pokemon and upgrading his team in most situations, this is Ice Cold's time to abuse it, and if he can do it, not only will he be looking really strong, but he will be shutting down and shattering the dreams of Tyler Poke Trainer, who's trying to get in first Pro Pokeball to make it into playoffs, first Pro Pokeball. It's no longer a Season 1, Season 2 thing. This is a developed tournament that has rules that are making people play in certain ways and are bringing out metagames of their own. And if he can read this well enough, this could be a great stand for him. Why do you have 3 matches? What the hell? Nonetheless, last match of the night, the series of 2 between Lunar Cresselia and Ice Cold. Let's go. Sec. Quick swap, there we go! Lunar Cresselia on your close side, Professor Anish of Ice Cold on your far side. That Mawile will be used anytime it's not banned. But here we go, we do see that Tyrantrum and that Jirachi. These are the Pokemon we were just talking about. Here's a bulky team for you if I ever see one. Mega Pidgeot feeling pretty good in the back there, trying to do as much as possible. The other thing to note, because the Sylveon is banned, we have access to both Mega Man and Mega Pidgeot for Lunar Cresselia. It's a rare occurrence for them, because usually one of them was taken out, making his decision easy, but... With the offset of this, we do see the Hydreigon as well, so a lot of Pokemon we're calling here based on the bans. The Mawile will make its way in against the Tyrantrum. This is one situation you don't want Tyrantrum to stay in on, because if you're going to get as much value as you can, that is a free team to head smash on, depending on what type of Tyrantrum he's running. If that's Scarfed, it is game, as long as that Jellicent is brought down low and that Mawile is managed. And maybe Hydreigon take a bit of damage. Nonetheless, the Incineroar is going to make its way and gets the Intimidate on to the Mawile. Surprisingly, actually, that Predator is going to do a fair amount to the Incineroar. But I'm surprised there's no Hyper Cutter on Mawile. I thought Mawile got Hyper Cutter. Am I wrong? I thought you'd run Hyper Cutter just to be able to tank up that Intimidate before it goes into the likes of the Mega, but nonetheless, it is still huge power Mega Mawile. You still don't want to underestimate this thing's damage, and at least for this, Lunar Cresselia are going to have that advantage of being able to intimidate the Mawile without having to worry about it. Hydreigon will make its way in as knockoff will happen. We can check to see what this thing is going to be running. Oh, it's a Z-Crystal! It's gotta be, because nothing flies off the 3-headed. This is a good thing, though, because now it's going to depend on what we're going to see on that Tyrantrum. That's Scarf Tyrantrum. You don't have to worry about Scarf Hydreigon, but it does mean you need to get the damage down to be able to take it on or even set up a Dragon Dance. Something's going to have to happen here, but we do confirm a Z-Crystal of some type on Hydreigon. Cryogonal is going to be the special defensive wall to kind of step into that nuclear chamber, see what's going on, but Mesprit will make its way in. Now, knowing that he is not going to be very threatened, this is the time to set up the Trick Room and start getting work done. Mawile and Crabominable are waiting. Tyrantrum is going to make its way in. I don't know if this is the time to do it. Yes, it might be slower than the Mesprit. Probably not, though, because it's going to go for Healing Wish. We've seen it multiple times. This, if you're going to do this, he's actually slower. And the Reflect is set up, but yeah, look at that damage from Head Smash. Rockhead makes it so safe to go for this attack, and Tyrantrum is sporting a pretty hefty attack stat. So that's a lot of damage done, but not enough. This could even be a speed tie right now. That's kind of strange, yeah, maybe a speed tie, because I expected Mesprit would be built as a Trick Room Pokemon to get taken, or at least get one value out with Trick Room, but it is slower. Now Crabominable has to come in. Is the Head Smash going to do all that? Does a fair amount, not a kill, because thank God for that Reflect. He actually stays in and gets Ice Hammered. That was a condition to win, and now he just lets it die, but the Jirachi maybe is going to be his answer. I don't know, though, because with that minus speed, the Earthquake's going to come through. Look at the damage Crabominable brings. Yes, he gets the kill, but at what cost? The superstars literally on the team, both being brought down to their last appearances in the first game anyways. Jellicent does feel super safe. Yes, the Jirachi will outspeed. It might go for the U-turn or something of the sort, but it will outspeed. It will be able to just take anything that Jirachi wants to go for and threaten it. Saizuto will come in. Shadow Ball is used very wisely by Initiator. Actually, that does a fair amount of damage with the crit. That is a crit, of course. But very wisely not going for the Scald because, well, that's a thing. Because he didn't want to worry about Water Absorb. And why worry about Water Absorb when you're carrying Energy Ball? Is that an offensive Jellicent? That might be an offensive Jellicent. You don't see Energy Ball every day, or at least see Giga Drain or something, but nonetheless, Pidgeot now has to come in as 5-3 in favor of Ice Cold. Lunar Cresselia, they gotta be feeling the pressure. They know every point counts. Yes, they have the most battles, but you want to show what this Jirachi can do on your team. You want to show off Tyrantrum more, and this is not shaping up to what he probably expected. However, it would have looked different if that Reflect and that Trick Room weren't up. So, well played by Initiator, get those up, and kind of abuse the fact that they weren't necessarily accounted for. However, make a Pidgeot setup, goes for the U-turn, actually not even going to try and risk taking more damage. Cryogonal will come in as the Trick Room is set up once again. Yes, Freeze Dry is there. Yes, Mawile can also step in and say, hi, being at full HP. But if he gets the freeze, that'd be amazing. That'd be terrible for him, but it is Mawile's time to come in. Will we see the freeze come off? The knockoff is used instead. And it's another item you can't knock off. Mega Stones and Z Crystals are stuck for life. He now has to go for the freeze. The HP Fire! What? Did he just HP Fire with the Cryogonal? Oh my god, okay. Jirachi will come in, tank the hit. Yes, that's not a bad play. Start wasting the Trick Room, but okay. Bring some damage. It might be HP Ground, actually. I don't think HP Fire is super... Is it? No, it might be. But nonetheless, He's going to use 2 Pokemon here to take it down. Make a Pidgeot against the world. It can do it outside of Trick Room. Let's see if he can get enough hacks to make this happen. Mawile is going to Sucker Punch, and the +2 Mega is going to take it to Game 1 for Ice Cold. Honestly, I don't know why I didn't think +2 Sucker Punch would kill. But hey, it happens. And he's dead. Mega Mawile is quite strong, in case all of you forgot. What did he get? Mawile. Ah. Anyways. Would the person who please let Mawile through the draft please come to the principal's office? We need to handle this immediately. Well, what do we expect? That is what we expected. Hey, that's how it goes though. When the Tyrantrum's gone, the Jirachi's not taking the hits. Easy sweep for Ice Cold, right? Not much to really talk about there other than we have to take a look at what Lunar Cresselia tried to pull off here. So, the Cryogonal being offensive, the Jirachi not being able to take that hit very well, but I think the big deal is the Tyrantrum was left there to die, and you could argue, yes, the Mega Pidgeot could do a lot, but, I mean, Jellicent was not pressured. We don't really have any. He didn't bring anything for that Seismitoad, correct? Let me see. Maybe relying on Tyrant to try and take it out, but if that's an offensive Jellicent, you're gonna need something to handle it, and really his best Pokemon for that, Shaman. Shaman actually might feel a little good here, because it's not gonna want to take the hits for the Crabominable or the Mawile, really. So you might have to question if the Heatran was the correct ban here. Yes, it makes sense because you have a lot of Pokemon that just want to go for hits, and Heatran resists all that, but you know, Mawile's pretty good. I'm just gonna keep saying it. Mawile is a pretty good Pokemon. But you saw the attempt to try and tank it up. Obviously, Seismitoad gets hit with the Energy Ball. I feel like with these revelations, the mistakes won't be the same, and that might even give more value to Shaman being switched onto the team here. Infernape didn't really do much either. Yes, the Intimidate's great against the Mawile, but you're not going to want to keep it anyways because the amount of damage is going to be happening, and Mawile never wants to face Incineroar. So is it ever going to be a matchup that Initiator is going to let you take? Probably not, especially since he has the likes of Jellicent, and he has the likes of, well, Hydreigon, which could come in as well and just threaten it. And carrying that Z Crystal, we gotta question what it is. But nonetheless, Game 1 does go to Ice Cold. That's what he wants to see with the 0-2 and no points going to I Am Groot this week. Ice Cold feeling okay, going for that climb. Is it C2 criteria? Maybe not, but he can make a good showing for himself and try and show the tournament that he means business. Game number 2 is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, the last match of the night, the last game of the night between Lunar Cresselias and Ice Cold. What do we see? We see that Shaman. It makes the most sense. We'll be able to take a little more hits. Now, I'm curious to see if we see the same play here with Tyrantrum, because really, just putting all that pressure down at the beginning, Ice Cold might actually feel like he could send in something like Mesper, go for the Trick Room, because he has the Focus Sash to set up the Reflect and feel the exact same way and just kind of speed up that checking. Mawile setting up, I don't think it's going to be the best because, yeah, the Incineroar makes the most sense here, but the Yanmega coming in versus the Incineroar, okay. Still not the worst for Lunar Cresselia, still have the pressure with Flare Blitz, but Yanmega not wanting to really do much here. We could see that Hypnosis come out, but the Hydreigon instead is going to come in. Same old song and dance, we know the Z Crystal's on that thing, but what is it? What is taking the hit? It's going to be used right now. It is going to be Black Hole Eclipse, actually. That is Darkium Z. That does nothing as the Drain Punch comes out from Incineroar. He is a wrestler by nature, and he will suck the life out of you. That's a good amount of damage tanked and dealt, basically making that Darkium Z do absolutely nothing, expecting a switch, and it doesn't happen. So now Mesper has to come in with the size also making its way in. If that was a knockoff right there on prediction, that would have been disastrous for Initiator. But now, feeling safe, most likely we'll be able to take all the hits. The Trick Room's going to come in, probably to reflect the same things going to be happening, and then starts making work with his Mawile and his Crabominable. What can this Seismitoad do? What was it meant to do? Was it meant to get hit by an Energy Ball? What is this Seismitoad supposed to accomplish? The rocks are set up, so at least still damage coming in early, so Pokemon will have to switch in and start taking the damage. With Life Orb Crabominable, this is going to be a big deal because that's just one extra attack it can't go for. Oh, did I say Infernape? Incineroar. Whatever. Scald comes out, doesn't get the burst. Not going to be doing much, though. At this point, the best play for Ludicrous is just stall out the Trick Room the best that he can. If he does get the burn on one of these Pokemon, that'll be a big deal. His Jellicent will come in. Doesn't matter. Ooh, excellent prediction there. Predicting the Jellicent to come in. Well played by Tyler. This is the form that we saw preseason, and that's what we want to see starting right now. Take that point. Get that win. Incineroar will make its way in. Apparently knock off Dark. This is the Shadow to Infernape. But, yeah, Incineroar doesn't care about this moveset. Yeah, you can go for that. You can go for that water attack. It's a fairly bulky Pokemon. Does have leftovers, not the Assault Vest this time, though. So, doesn't be careful about a Scald. Could be something like a Surf. We don't know exactly what Initiator wants to do with this. The fact that he has offensive moves might mean that it might be carrying even... It's not Specs, though. That's the thing. Usually you'd see, like, Specs with Water Spout is a thing you can run in Trick Room because it is a Trick Room Pokemon. But, of course, when it's Trick Room Water Spout, not the greatest if you're taking damage on the turn, you're going for Trick Rooms. You know. Initiator taking the time right now to decide his play. This is feeling better for Tyler Poke, though. It is going to be the Surf confirmed, and we know the full moveset of this Pokemon. Energy Ball, Surf, Trick Room, and Shadow Ball. So now we know Sizotope feels pretty good here. Because the Toxic's down on the Jellicent, this does actually put a timer on this Pokemon, which caused him a lot of stress before. Yes, the Energy Ball is here. He could switch into the Shaman, knowing that it'd only be Shadow Ball doing damage. You might see that prediction. Instead, he opts to go in for the damage. The Trick Room set up again. Okay, playing with a little bit of fire here, but knows that now Poison will take out the Jellicent if we don't see this thing switch. So, Luna Cresselia is reading it well. They're actually, you know, seeing the situation and going with it. Crabominal will make its way in. No Reflectos. The Shaman switched in. That would have been the time to deal some damage. He didn't see it coming. Initiator getting away with this scot-free. I mean, I don't blame him. Looking for that 1-for-1, not feeling the best. Actually, wouldn't be a kill because of leftovers, so. Didn't want to make that trade. Not the worst. Shaman does not want to take the Ice Hammer. I think this is a Jirachi time. Maybe try and play around with it. Maybe Incineroar comes in. This could be Iron Fist. This also could be Hyper Cutter. Believe it or not, Ice Hammer will come in. Takes the hit fairly well. He's just got to sit here and try and waste some turns. Luckily, Life Orb will make this feel a little bit better as well. But Crabominable, of course, as we've seen in most matches that it does get to attack, it gets some free hits off, takes more recoil, but takes down the Seismitoad. I think the Seismitoad's actually done his job right now. As now, we've seen it before. Earthquake came out, brought this thing very, very low. A critical hit would feel great for Initiator. No Commentator's Curse, please. But the Shaman's going to make the switch in onto the Earthquake. Makes sense for him to do that. Well played by Tyler Poke, baiting out the last turn of the Trick Room, and now Initiator's got to do it all over again. Rinse, repeat, and sweep. But something might have to take Sea Flare here. More damage dealt down. We could even see an Earth Power come out predicting a Mawile or something of the sort. Just have to worry. What is the Pokemon coming in? I think actually Yanmega comes in here. The Sea Flare will happen. Oh, he makes a call. And the call, I don't think went his way. Crabominal actually is taken down. Don't know if Initiator actually wanted that to happen or tried to play chicken, because I was going to say Yanmega made the most sense, because Air Slash could be on Shaman, but most likely not, so it'd tank up a Seed Flare that could be easily spammed, and then try and threaten it with Speed Boost, going for Protect, getting the Speed Boost, and then going for its own Air Slash or Bug Buzz, try and kill it off, or just do as much damage as possible to that Shaman. Shaman with the leftovers does mean you're not going to be worrying about any Scarf or Specs shenanigans or Life Orb shenanigans or anything like that, but Crabominable down. It is down to the Mawile and that Z-Crystal-less Hydreigon, but that's not even a 2-kill. Shoutouts to World Leader Thunder Punch. Okay, he's going for 20% paras here. He is pulling out all coverage. Iron Head would have done just as well, let's be fair, but Thunder Punch revealed. Mawile coming in, feels safe against the Jirachi. Says, you can't do much to me. I also have Sucker Punch in case I do get parried. But in Trick Room, I'll be super strong. But Mawile's going to try and get some stuff done here. Obviously, he knows that if he sets up... Here comes the Fire Punch. The Fire Punch will happen. A burn be awful. 20% does not happen. I think he might be looking for it, but now you have to worry about +2 Sucker Punch. It might kill off the Jirachi from that range. Indeed, it does, because I forgot it's super effective because I'm playing too much pre-Gen 5. And that's going to take out Jirachi. Now you got a +2 Mega Mawile, and Sucker Punch doesn't feel great. But Incineroar does. Incineroar's most likely coming in here, getting the -1 attack, dropping the threatening with the Flare Blitz. Because honestly, you can't take that risk. And on top of that, yes, Jellicent was preserved, but it doesn't have any healing, so it's not going to like taking the hits, and exactly that's what's going to happen. +1 Sucker Punch not doing the greatest. I don't think Initiator could go in here without having his final sweeper. So, yes, it won't take any damage from rocks, or it'll take 5% from rocks, but this is not the time for him to stay in. This is good play from Ludicrous Elias, maintaining the pressure because no Crab Bomb have to worry about. If Mesprit won't make its time in, Flare Blitz comes out. That's a lot of damage. But because we can expect this thing to be a little bit slower because it's in a Trick Room set, Knockoff will threaten it. Okay, Protect comes through, Knockoff will happen. But even so, like, there's nothing he can get done here because everything just has to worry about getting hit. This is bad. Hydreigon needs to make its way in, if anything, to take a hit and try and threaten, but that might not even have enough in the tank because it's low. I think Ludicrous Elias have taken the point. That call with the Crabominable puts him in a really bad spot without any Trick Room, and I mean, it needed Trick Room regardless, but I think the Incineroar Shaman here is just going to actually put Initiator on the ropes. What is the play? What is he looking for? Because Knockoff is a pretty easy move here. Could even go for the likes of, he's trying to heal himself up. He could go for the double track to try and live another Flare Blitz, but I mean, Knockoff happens, and then Knockoff just takes him down before he can even go for it. So it might come down to a game of chicken with what move he goes for. But it's also just a giant risk if he does go for the double attack, because it's only a 50% time. Darkest Lariat comes out, takes it down anyways. Doesn't matter about the dark move he used. Does confirm the knockoff in the Darkest Lariat, so that's down. No more Trick Room unless that Jellicent gets it. Hydreigon is going to come in and try and be spoopy, maybe with Earth Power, but Pidgeot says hello as the roost happens. Okay, so Initiator getting a little bit of HP back. Hydreigon feeling all right here. No Z-Crystal to spam, but Hurricane will come in. Barely misses the kill, but that's not going to be enough healing for Initiator. I think he's given Ludicrous Elias the chance here to start making it windy, because if he wanted those 3 points, it's looking next to impossible by now. Heat Wave is on Pidgeot most likely as well, which means everything is going to be feeling bad. And with Incineroar being safe, I don't think Initiator has anything left to threaten with. Pidgeot outspeeds out of the Trick Room, and then Incineroar just tanks up the Mega Mawile, says hello, goodbye, roasted, and see you later. That is going to be a Hydreigon down. It is up to the Jellicent and the Mawile. You could say maybe he hopes for misses. Nope, because you can't miss with no guard. Heat Wave comes out, toasts the Mawile, ladies and gentlemen, in a comeback with substitutions. What we wanted to see from Ludicrous Elias. He will take game number 2. He will keep his playoffs hopes alive. And that will be a feel-good win for Tyler Poke Trainer. GG. And now you gotta speculate. The Crabominable, did it actually matter that the thing died? What was the plan from there when it died? Was it a bad call? Was it something we were going to be looking at to see what was going to be happening with everything else? We don't know, but nonetheless, Tyler Poke will take it, and that will give him that point that he desperately needs, despite the fact that he has four full weeks to battle. This is going to be at least 1 point. It doesn't put him that far behind. So, GG to him, GG to Initiator. Let's get those points in and take a look at what everything else is looking like. You know, take a look at the other thing. Take a look at the stuff, you know, things with the stuff and all that stuff. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at these standings after week 7 is complete. Mitchie W, Fortnite Ninjas on top, still with the most battles to go at 21 enormous points. So that 2-0 night Manchester Manetric sitting in second place with 18 points for now. Because Traverse City Thunders, they have games to play in the next 3 weeks, sitting in third with 17 points. Golden State Greninjas and I Am Groot still sharing a seat. That's gonna be weird when they both come back and battle for their final 2 matches. But Ice Cold, with only that 1 point, is also gonna be sharing the 4th seat. Oh man, they've got like a teacup ride going there. All 3 of them are spinning at the same time, but obviously they want to try and throw the other 2 out. It becomes a Mario Party game. And now with that win, Ludicrous Elias and Las Vegas Golden Ricardos are tied. And you gotta see now, if you're a Coma fan, if you're Coma, you're hoping for the people. If you can get the points in your last battle against Traverse City Thunderous, you're hoping everybody starts falling because you're aiming for that 3rd to 6th seed. And if it doesn't happen, that's it. He's only got so much time left. He's got to hope for a couple of things to change. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming out tonight. Another fantastic evening with the ProPokeBowl. Thank you to all the chat and everyone who's participating, watching, and bringing the hype to the battles. We'll be back next Wednesday, September 11th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time start. If you guys want to keep up with everything, you can go over to twitch.tv/ProPokeBowl/videos/collections. For thousands of hours of content, you can watch the past ProPokeBowl, see where some of these coaches have come from, and see all of the progress they've made. But if you want to watch other content, we are going back to Monster Sanctuary this Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time? No, this Saturday. It's this Saturday. We're doing a weekend thing. Let me double check. We are doing a weekend thing, I believe. Yes, we're doing a 1 p.m. weekend thing. Saturday and Sunday are our other stream times this week. Understand that the reason why we're not doing it during the week is because we have a couple of things to announce, ladies and gentlemen. Extra Life 2019 is around the corner. And what does that mean? That means we've got a marathon to run. But you know what that also means? We're expanding the marathon, ladies and gentlemen. I have six days of collaborations on top of a 3-day marathon, November 1st to 3rd. Fantasy Star Sonic, Snow Bear 22, Raspberry Blitz, Gamma, Fedora Gaming, and Jet Punch. I was like, I got number 6 in there. All 6 of them will be joining me for 6 extra rewarding days to raise money for the Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We're going to have incentives this year. You can donate towards milestones as well as influencing the content that we do day by day. That schedule will be announced by the end of the week. I'm still in work with getting all the schedules announced, but you can look for these mostly on weekends and throughout the week. Multiple hours, multiple opportunities for you to give to charity, or if not, at least support the content to get the message out there that on this channel we raise money as best as we can to give those chance to those kids who wish they could join this tournament or even just wish to do anything like this because they deserve as much of life as we have lived thus far. So let's raise that money. Let's get the hype going for Extra Life 2019. We've got all of those starting for you most likely as early potentially as 2 weeks from now. So watch for all the announcements in Discord, social media, stuff like that. Weekends and throughout the weeks. 100, yeah, I don't know about that one, Suwako. The good math, though. That's great math. But yeah. No, you're not deaf, Raz. I just talk really quickly and with a really different voice. But yeah. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff, guys. Speedruns, most likely, races, collaborative runs. Perhaps a Soul Link with Mr. Jet Punch that chat can influence. Perhaps, let's just give some examples here. Talk about a Stardew speedrun. Let's talk about potentially a Link to the Past multi-world collaboration with Fedora. How about we look at Points Lock official races with a man who is as insane as I am when it comes to runs. And much more for you to discover once I put out the schedule. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, ladies and gentlemen. See you Saturday. See you on social media throughout the week. Take care. GG to all the coaches. GG Anish. GG Tyler. And peace. Let's go host somebody. I don't know why I said peace before we host. Oh well. Hey, you know what? Let's go host the Boykes. I call him the Boykes. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's the Boykes or Boycast. Whichever one happens to be. Let's go. So he's playing some Dota Underlords. He's a guy I'm actually doing some crystal speedrunning of our own with him lately. So let's go say hello. Awesome dude. Very positive, man. Does a lot of GDQ if you like watching AGDQ. And SGDQ, he ran Pepsi Man. He also is trying to go for commentary this year at AGDQ 2020. So let's give him some good worships? Yeah, let's go give him some I don't know. Give him some Noob Squids. Noob Squids are always fun. Thank you very much for coming out, guys. See you on the weekend. Take care. And peace.